Well, Casey cancelled Cheshire, by the way. He's about to get exposed for his credibility and his podcasting skill. So look, let's see how this goes.
Oh yes, this is the Hardcore Marketing Show. I'm Casey Cheshire, your host for this epic journey. Today's show is sponsored by Ringmaster, on a mission to launch B2B podcasts that create relationships, generate revenue, and drive growth. Ringmasterlive.com. Bam. All right, here we go. We are on the way to Adventureland, and I'm excited to introduce our guest today because I've chatted with him before back in 2023. What is that date even? He was on this show that I was doing called Creating the Greatest Show, all about creating great podcasts. And we talked about how to captivate your audience. Well, who is he, Casey? Who is he? Serial founder, marketing leader, thought leader, creative communicator, go-to-market expert, advisor, mentor, and just all-around fun guy to hang out with. And that's what we're going to do today. Special episode. Decades of experience in the sales, the tech, the SaaS, and just really breaking out of the boring B2B content world. Partner at Slingshot Content, Ollie Whitfield. Welcome to the show.
I feel really good now. Thanks for that. If I
Yeah.
peaked, is that it?
Yeah, it's all downhill from there, right?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, like that was brilliant. Yeah, if I could just transcribe that and put that on my resume somewhere, thank you.
You are welcome to use that as your alarm clock in the morning. You know, I think that would be fitting. So every morning you can just wake up to that introduction.
Nice. I like it. Ringtone might be a bit annoying in public, but you know.
Yes, ringtone. That'd be wild. Well, hey, we have a tradition here, and we're going to use this in a different way because I know it's going to be a different kind of show today. But I must pass you this thing, and whatever you do with it, it's up to you. Here it is. It's heavy. Okay, Ollie, go ahead. Take Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer. Thank you.
Smash for me a myth. Make things fun. Let's talk about how to captivate our audience, and let's have a great time today. What do you think?
I'm smashing my desk for those who are listening and not watching. So Thor smashed my desk.
Dang, he really did. You really did smash your desk.
I'm going to bust the myth of preparation because I am not prepared for this question. If you can do it on the cuff, you can do it anywhere. Sometimes things come at you by surprise, particularly in content. The best things are not always scripted.
You know, and it's so true because there's scripting, there's unscripting, but in the end, we want to just have a good time on the show. I know we said this is going to be a different kind of show. This is going to be a little unscripted, and we're going to have some fun and some challenges and mix up them all a little bit. So what do we have today for getting crazy here on the show?
I want to put you through your paces. I want to see how good you really are.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming to the Hardcore Marketing Show. We'll see you all next time. Yeah. So, okay. Paces. How are we going to do that?
Well, Casey cancelled Cheshire, by the way. He's about to get exposed for his credibility and his podcasting skill. So look, let's see how this goes. I think it would be fun to come up with some podcast concepts and formats that would be interesting. Now, like, this is an interview show. There is nothing wrong with that. But there is no shortage of those. Like, we know that.
Sure.
That's what the default is. It's I sit with someone and talk to them for an hour or so and ask them questions. It's nothing novel. So if we're trying to be a little bit different, what would we do? Now, I have one that I'd like to start with that I think is not for everybody, but I think we're planting the seed because if you just think podcast, default, you assume you're doing an interview. You don't even ask the question of what is it going to be. And I think that's the thing that we should all stop doing and start thinking about what are the options. So have you got one that you'd like to put forward that you think is maybe under the radar?
Yeah, for sure. I've been talking about this for a while. I think we should do this at some point. I didn't prepare either and bring these, but I think we should have a podcast where we eat potato chips. And people try to guess what kind of chip you're eating based on sound only.
Sound alone.
Yeah. You know, because you get that kettle chip, you know, that really angry kettle chip with that crunch to it, and something you got those Lay's and those other ones that are just kind of like chill chips, you know, they just break up.
Bit of ASMR. That's
yeah.
It wouldn't be for me. I'm that person who when there are ads, when you reach the bottom of the drink and you get that kind of slurpy sucking air sound.
Yeah.
There's an ad at the minute in the UK that drives me insane. because I keep hearing it, and it's kind of like when people like scrape their nails down a chalkboard. It's that horrible spine chilling sound. That's that one for me. And so is hearing people eat. But if you love chips, you've cornered the market there and crushed that.
So you're saying it bothers you. See, now if I had known it bothered you, I might have actually brought some, you know?
I could go get some. I could return a favor.
Right? Right? Okay, your turn. What do you think? What concept would you create?
I think quizzes are not given the light of day. So I found myself recently, when you're just scrolling through your social media, just killing 5 minutes of time before you do something. I keep finding these quizzical sort of things that you click on it. It's like a stupid Facebook link. Name the past 10 MVPs in the Super Bowl. It's like really standard stuff, or about football, or about anything in life. And I can't resist, like a lot of them are about UK sport. I can't resist the arrogance in me of I'll know the answer to that. I'll get all of them. Like I'll rank higher than everybody else. I'll know the answers. I have to give it a go, and they're timed. That sort of stuff. I can't stop doing them. So I think a lot of people would. It's maybe a new take on the TV quiz show. Maybe a new take on just doing a newspaper quiz, because who does that anymore? It could be good fun, and it gives you a chance to reveal answers in another episode, like down line.
Oh, damn! You don't even share the answers in that episode. You have to go to the next one to get the answers.
Or maybe at the end, or maybe a day later. Like there'd have to be some feedback loop. I'm not exactly sure when, but I do think if there was a really technical market, let's say an accountant, you want to be the expert accountant. It's very factual,
right?
There is right and wrong there, so you could, in theory, sort of keep accountant mind sharp by doing a yes, no, correct, incorrect quiz.
I really love about that is the separate episode with the answers. Now you've got 2 listens for the price of 1, and maybe you have it come out 2 days later, so you have to follow and subscribe, or you're never gonna know.
And I bet you invest like half hour to do it. You're going to make sure you got it right? You're not going to just disappear. You want to know.
Yeah, if you put the time into it, you really want to know the outcome. And so all you got to do is hit follow and pick up the answers 2 days. That would also annoy me though too if I can't get the answers right now.
Yeah, maybe it needed to be end of episode, no cheat, no spoilers. It's always at the 29th minute or something, and they wins through it.
Right.
And you could have used it a little bit. But I like the gamification sort of thing. If it got big, it's kind of like Wordle. People posted their Wordles and they're saying, yeah, I got it first go. I'm brilliant. Like I got 28 out of 30 this week on the general knowledge X quiz. Great.
I'm feeling it though. I'm feeling like maybe it's a 2-part episode, 2 episodes, and you launch them both the same day. But what's fascinating about your idea is that if you just want the quiz, you go to the quiz. If you just want the answers and you don't even like quizzes, just go to the answers, and you can benefit from learning all these things without the fun. But if you want the fun, go get it.
Might even be not necessarily like a pop quiz. You could take like marketing, for example. You could have marketing on your way to work is the name of it. You could do them for the morning, or maybe Monday, 8 o'clock. You'd put it out so that people are listening on the way into work if they're commuting. And it's stuff like who saw on day of recording the person having an affair at the Coldplay concert thing is like rife in my LinkedIn feed, right?
So oh my gosh,
we just dated ourselves there. But who saw that, and like what company were they from? And the answer is later on. You come back for it at the end of the day. So it's not necessarily that's incorrect or that's correct, like tactical stuff, but could be keep up to date with your market, or could be tactical, could be dependent on field. But that sort of stuff could be quite good fun. You've released the answers end of day, maybe it's one way.
See, now that you have that brilliant idea, I feel like my chips idea is just crap, just total. And I don't even know if people will make it to your idea because my idea was so bad.
I grandstanded you on purpose. It's marketing's all about perception. I put you here. I gave you no context, and then I just whipped out this grandiose idea. So
this great idea we have to try. Absolutely. By the way, sidetrack. I thought I was the classic, 2 years behind on social guy who goes, oh, when did that song come out? Like 8 years ago. And I'm like, that's a really good tune, with that couple. I thought I was just seeing some old video, and I was like, oh man, this is spicy. Like they got busted. I wonder if people found out who it was, right? Not realizing this is like a right now thing, and I was actually not behind. So yeah, any thoughts on that? Since we're gonna get all topical.
Oh, yeah. I keep seeing it, and someone posted in my feed. I think they got it quite right. It's a bit of a shame that that sort of topic is really what has taken over my feed today. As much as it's kind of
Yeah.
memifying it, it's still, when it comes to it, it's not a very nice thing to talk about. So it's a bit of a shame. Maybe it'll go even more viral on other platforms like Facebook and other places, but I don't love that. I want to get back to what I'm doing and what I'm working on, and that being sort of used all over the place. I probably wouldn't recommend it to any brands that I work with personally.
Yeah, unless you're like a super edgy brand, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, just yeah, don't even touch it. Just move right along.
Unless you're a marriage counseling brand, in which case you have a very good shoe in there. But beyond that, yeah, you're getting into some territory.
For sure. And you know what? I never did like HR. So,
That's why you work for yourself, right?
right? Exactly. I mean, you know, dang. Though I suppose I just haven't been to the right companies then, really, with HR
Or the right concerts.
or the right concerts. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So back to the entertaining different types of podcasts. I'm loving it. The quizzicals. Very cool. Suppose it's back to me now with an idea.
Yeah, you got another one?
Do I have another one? Yeah. Yeah. It's like doing it, getting, yeah. Okay. Let me put my brain cells together. It reminds me of the old podcast public radio person with the headphones on or the microphone joining someone out in the world on an adventure. So I could see someone doing something athletic and they're right there with them, and they're either running or maybe it's hard to run and do a pod. So maybe they're like rowing, right? But they are out somewhere and it's like out of studio, out of office. And you have that really cool ambient background noise. And, in this idea I've been toying with, it got inspired to me by Lauren, who we work with, and her company does like the last mile of shipping and fulfillment, and she was going to run the last mile of fulfillment for her customers and record right along with them. I thought that's just brilliant because you're getting out there on scene and you can sort of like report live from that particular area and maybe highlight the company that you're at.
Okay, I like it. So play back to me what. Give me it in like one sentence. I think I got like a couple of elements, so I want to make sure I'm really clear.
Live outdoor adventure record. It might even be an interview too. Live outdoor adventure recording, like interview while adventuring.
Kind of commentary, but also with a person who can tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So what came to mind is on YouTube. Have you heard of the Yes Theory people?
Mm-mm.
So they're a great channel name. The whole thing is they say yes to everything and then they document what it's like. So for instance, they might say, one of the episodes I watched, I'm going to butcher this. They went to the Vatican and they tried to speak to people from the Vatican because it's a country, as they were saying, but there's no land or anything like that. I'm getting this really wrong, but you get the point. They were going there to investigate and work out what the hell is going on. So they go there and they've brought a fan with them and they're commentating on what happens. They're there at the same time as the new pope. All these things happen in the journey. You didn't really have to watch it to know what was going on because they did narrate and they did kind of commentate and speak to the person and the people that they're with to do it. So are you describing that kind of thing? Like you're brought along with you and it's not visual?
Yes. Yes. Except I think I'm still thinking like it's an interview, but it's out in the wild.
Okay.
So maybe it's not an interview. It's more of like a conversation between two friends. But you're like, I've had some really good conversations hiking with some buddies, and it's almost like, could you capture the magic of that conversation that went on?
Right, like around the campfire, going up the hills, that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
The philosophizing that happens midway through a 8-mile track or something like that.
Got you. Are you worried a little bit about the audio stuff? Like, there's wind. You might have this is really like tactical nerdy stuff, but you might have some peaking
Yeah.
if you walk over a load of sticks and it's annoying to listen to and that stuff. Is that a bit of a problem, or is it like you choose different settings?
I think as long as it's not a windy day or you didn't spend a lot of time up there, or maybe it was more about when you're in the trees and going. And I think a little bit of the crackling of the twigs and stuff would be fine, as just like a background noise, as long as it's not too sharp, you know. And maybe the heavy breathing, you might have to not push yourself too hard, so it just becomes a breathing podcast, you know.
Yeah, no one wants to hear the like out of breath. And equally, like, let's mute if you need a quick toilet break, that stuff. But I like the fire idea, like the natural snapple and crack of a fire sound is really relaxing. People love that sound. Like, that's a brilliant ambient background for something like that.
And if it's real too, and it's not, you know, it's like I always hate seeing like fake fires on TV shows. I'm like, okay, you know, nice fake fire. But when it's real, so I like your modification is maybe you're not working your ass off climbing a hill. Maybe you're just sitting around a campfire and you have that noise. And you could actually just bring some booms and some good microphone setups and actually have really good sound. They might actually not even pick up the campfire if you don't watch out. So you might actually have to mic up the campfire.
What a weird phrase, but it'd be cool though, wouldn't it?
It would be cool.
You could have like the U camera, the guest camera, the campfire camera,
Okay, I'm in.
because you want to watch that, right?
Yeah. You guest campfire. I feel like this needs to exist. We need to create this.
You got a campfire in your backyard you could fire up?
I do. Yeah, I could do that.
Easy. Next podcast, don't even talk to me if it's not outside, dude.
Well, here's the challenge, right? I mean, do you melt your mic? You just have to find a camera and a microphone that doesn't melt in near a fire. Maybe like a shotgun mic or something like that to really just.
Yeah, wouldn't have to be right close to it.
Yeah, I could see some dummy just throwing a lav mic into the fire, melts.
Yeah, a little bit of static, just a little bit.
Yeah, just fizzles out and is gone. Yeah, I'm feeling that. See, this is great, man. I love the conversation here because it starts out with me saying something dumb, and then slowly together, you and I work toward this thing where it's like, actually, yeah, that is completely plausible and would be kind of fun to listen to. I especially like the campfire getting its own camera. Problem is, every time it crackles, if it was an automatic, it would pull the camera over to the fire.
Yeah, you got to be all three on screen the whole time. You can't have the like
Right.
on Zoom who is talking view because it's just the campfire.
Right, you'll just get campfire the whole time. So yeah, you'd have to have gallery view for sure. But that would be kind of hilarious, and especially if it's not fake. People would just be like, "I can't believe you did that," and they might tune in once. So then you'd have to make sure you had something for them to listen to when you got there. But I like it. How about you? Any other ideas on your end?
Oh, put me under the microscope again.
I got another one.
Oh, you got another one? Fire away.
Yeah, swimming with dolphins on a podcast.
Okay, I can see some challenges.
You're not sure how exactly. The microphones will be a little bit challenging. So, yeah, not sure how we do that, but that might be fun. And you could mic up the dolphin too. Maybe like a lav mic wrapped around its torso, you know?
Why can I not unsee that?
I feel like I need AI to create that image and make that the thumbnail, you know?
So that dolphin just got 1 million Instagram followers for sure.
Yeah, way more than me, right? I just get followed by spam on Instagram. This would get like 100,000 real people followers.
So this is, I'm getting like, you've gone for hot ones, but for not eating chicken wings and hot sauce. It's like an experiential thing plus conversation.
You're right. Invite your guest to go swimming with dolphins with you and mic up everyone. Yeah. So, if they were down to eat hot wings on a show, why not fly to Nassau and meet you there and then get interviewed by you while you're swimming with dolphins. Plausible.
I like it.
Would you be episode number 1?
Yeah, like all expenses fly me there. Like, done. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. It's like selling a timeshare. Come down for a free vacation. You only have to sit for a 30-minute podcast interview with dolphins, and then you're free to have the rest of the vacation to yourself.
I can see that being like a phenomenon, just because who's got that? No one's got that. It's kind of Hot Ones is not all that unique. It's got like some elements to it that are really cool that help it do that. But
Right.
That's I can't not see that when you talk about it, and that's the one thing that you'd have to put that on a YouTube and things like that, wouldn't you? You couldn't not. It wouldn't work without being visual, would it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it has to. Yeah, it's almost like a Mr. Beast level. Random stranger come down here with me, or some celebrity or CEO who would think it was preposterous. I think, or a scheme. You get to Nassau, you get robbed.
I could see you should do both of them. So my challenge to you is, in the next year, you got to do these executive retreats where you have the campfire, and that's where you can do one of your recordings. So you've got all of these execs coming with you. You've already got the recording and the people there. And then the next day you go do the dolphin retreat. And then that's the next round, or the next, that's the separate podcast. So you've got this. I believe in you. I think you could do this.
All right. I think the harder part might be the campfire. Yeah. Because when it's hot out, the tropical islands, you're not usually making campfires a lot. So that might be the harder part than swimming with mic'd up dolphins, honestly. But I bet you they have microphones for dolphins already. I'm looking it up. Microphones for dolphins.
$2,000.
Okay. Well, there's a company called free sponsorship here, free advertisement. There's dolphinaudio.com. This was made for this concept, obviously. Dolphin party mic. Okay.
Cool.
Professional wireless microphone. Let's go. Only $43. See, this is a good sign. But you know what? It would be fun is if I called them live on this podcast and asked them if they sell straps that hold the microphones to the dolphins.
I think you should do that.
Or if you have to hold it the whole time,
Why not? Different podcast. I think this is very fitting. I think you should do that.
Yeah, on that note, that kind of been another concept, the idea of the good old fashioned prank call, and maybe it's not a prank call, but you're calling places. I think Grant Cardone used to have someone offer up their phone, or tell him what their office number was, and he'd call to talk to their sales rep and put it on speakerphone and see if they violated the things he was just teaching or not. So I could see it'd be kind of fun to call places,
I quite like that.
Not to be mean though. You wouldn't be mean.
Yeah, you'd have to think of if you're going to speak to sales, you can get access to that. Or if you want to speak to a particular person, you might get it. Or if it was like a physical location, like a pizza shop or something, you could do it. But what did you want to get out would be the thing.
Right.
But if you could kind of stagger on at the end some kind of, so if you remember they said this, that was a really good idea. They probably should have said this as well, like a bit of teach rather than just poke fun, like in good taste,
Yeah, in good, right, because there's obviously you can make fun of things, but this would be more of a learning experience, and they'd have to approve of it, which could be a problem. You could record a bunch of these and have 10% of them approve being recorded.
But maybe you could bleep it out though. You could call if you're a trainer who helps selling that sort of stuff. That's a horrible way of wording it. If you're a sales trainer, I should say, you call up Domino's Pizza and you say, "Hey, excuse me, do you do grapes on pizza?" And the person on the phone is like, "What? Are you taking a piss? Go away." Not a great way to handle it. Maybe we bleep out that it's Domino's, but then my point is they didn't think on their feet and couldn't sort of converse with me and double check. And here's how I'd handled it. that sort of thing. You could make it interesting and fun, and you could bleep it out. Probably people would know who it is, but you're not going to get sued for that, I wouldn't have thought.
That's true. That's true. It actually reminds me of someone in your neck of the woods. This Julio, is it
Oh yeah. Julio who wears yellow is how I refer to him.
Segantini or something like that? Yeah.
He has a brilliant visual brand. He's good at what he does, but you can't not know who he is. Once you've seen him, you'll never unsee his branding and his attire.
So for those listening, he does cold calls and records it on social, and usually he's like a cold call trainer, and usually he's doing like Jenga or knitting a sweater. He's doing some kind of other activity because it's too easy not to. So he has to give himself a challenge. This is what he says. And it's really fun to watch him sometimes win and sometimes fail on video. That's a good one. How about you? What do you got? What's your next one?
You're giving me some challenge here.
Quizzicals, man. Did you just come on this podcast with quizzicals? Is that what you had?
I didn't have that. I bowled it up out of nowhere. So let's see if I can do that again. What's missing? Here's a bit of a left field one then. So I've long thought that companies who produce lots of content, they don't put it out in enough places. So take blogs. Pretty much everyone has a blog. Whether they're any good or not is a different thing. I'm not saying that you should make if you've already got a podcast like the one we're on right now, I don't think you should start to put your blogs read aloud on it. That you should have a separate one. But just for if you're really reputable, people want to consume your stuff. If you're of a good enough standing, you can sort of get away with this, even if your blog's not that brilliant. Why not? Maybe not even AI, maybe voice acted or just read aloud by somebody. Put your blog content, no matter how many there are, each time as a podcast episode. I don't have to listen to all of them because inherently blog posts are about a lot of different things. But that's one way you could get a lot of stuff out. You might get people just wanting to catch in for the 8-minute read aloud of a post you have. They can kind of subscribe to it and leave it, come back when they want to. But equally, the AI, LLM stuff going on, like the more content you have out, the more if you can attribute it back to the brand name in other sources, particularly like you put it on Apple Podcasts. There is an Apple Podcast link to your stuff there. That's more reputable than your own site. That stuff, as I'm told anyway, it has a good sway on AI search, which means you're going to rank quite nicely there too. So it's not really a podcast you'd like love to listen to. Maybe not the most novel thing ever, but as far as usefulness, I'd like to try that. I've long wanted to do it, and it's just kind of been, well, the AI voiceover isn't very good. Like it's really obviously not that good, and you wouldn't listen to it. That kind of breaks the theory to a point, but maybe now they're better.
Yeah, like which one? It's Google's. What is that? Something? Is it Notebook?
Oh yeah, Notebook LM is
LM.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell it to read aloud something. You probably can.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't read it out. It just has like a fake conversation between two people. Maybe this isn't really a conversation. People listening, maybe this is AI just doing a fake podcast. That's the idea, is it right? You give it some content, and then these two people are like, "Oh, I read this content today, and it was really cool." It almost works, except that you can tell because the second person is always like, yeah, and you're like, who? Wait. So you can tell it's not real, but I could. So are you saying that would you have the people talk about the content, or would you have them just straight up read it? So it's like a blog read to you.
I think it's basically an audio book. It's audible, but for podcast episodes from blogs, and not just blogs. It could be you made an ebook, you made a guide, you made a report, you made a whatever.
Yeah,
it's text. Why couldn't it be a read aloud piece? Just for my consumption habits, I don't really read blogs ever. I don't know many people who do, but that's my consumption habits. I listen to or I watch. So if the way that I love to consume is audio stuff, you just miss me completely.
right. See, man, you're just coming out. You just let that simmer for a little bit, and now that's a solid idea because I'm thinking back. I have a book that I wrote a couple of years back, and when it's your book, you can do whatever the heck you want with it. And I'm just thinking, it's almost like story time. You could buy it on Audible. Actually, I don't even have an Audible, so you can't really get it on Audible. But if you wanted just sort of to pick it up on a podcast, you could. Huh. Yeah, I wonder about that. I mean, it would take some effort and time, but it also people could put you at, 2.5 speed or something like that if they wanted to get to the point.
Yeah. Or I mean, you could pay voice actors to it. That would probably be quite a bit of money.
Well, for sure. With a book, you go Audible, go serious, but you could go low quality too and just get the content out there too. And also to your point, blog posts, which aren't, all done up like a book, would be great too. And you just have someone read it to you on your car trip in.
Yeah, as long as it sounded reasonable. Like I've the last person that I saw editing anything that they were using the script, and they have an integration with 11 Labs. I've used it before. It's pretty good. You know that they're AI really if you know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
If you didn't know you were looking at it, maybe it's possible. They're pretty good voiceovers. There's plenty of them. You can change them, and you can sort of indicate what accents you'd like. Like most of them are American. I'm English, so I'd like to pick a British one. But you could do that as long as they pick up on. I wouldn't say semi. I say semi. Those things, and if there's acronyms and those stuff, I wouldn't want it to say CAC. I want it to say CAC. As long as it got that, that would clearly get it. But yeah, I think that's a good one to just get stuff out there more. You may not listen to it, but the search stuff, there's got to be something in that. I'm pretty sure of it.
Good point. Like even if people aren't listening to it, it might be great just to index that into search. Yeah. You wouldn't want to mess up that acronym either, by the way. You'd want to make sure they nail that pronunciation
Oh, for sure.
correctly.
I chose that one on purpose,
Totally. You want to mess that up. But so you're even it's funny. I was thinking like manual and human like, and it sounds like you would just hack the shit out of Descript. And would you 11 Labs yourself on there? So it's even like you reading it. I would think I just read it.
You could do. Have you ever tried to read something out? Really odd question. I did a stunt trial run of this a while ago, and
Tell me.
I honestly, it's like I can't read. It's unbelievable. If I'm trying to read a piece in front of me, I just can't do it. I go off track so bad. So I can shoot videos where I'm trying to script roughly what I'm saying so that I don't go off piece, but I cannot read verbatim text in front of me.
What happens? Your brain goes somewhere else, like this is boring, or you start adding extra tidbits into it, or what? Like what?
Yeah, it's that it's definitely that. I'll go off track. I will index and make up stuff to add to it. I maybe don't like the way it's written, or I struggle to just voice out a sentence the way it's said. There's also just if you say a long sentence, you start high, gradually you go down in your tone of voice, and you really low energy by the end of the sentence. Like I extenuate it there, but it's hard to stay really high and energetic throughout the whole sentence for a sustained period of time. If it's 30 minutes, it's really difficult. So that's a speaking and presenting skill, but I would doubt a lot of people have that really high level skill to do that as well.
Is that required? I guess would be my question. Or can it be just sloppy, messy, and real? Or people get turned off by that,
I would say it depends if you're going to get listened to, wouldn't it? Like, say, if you're Neil Patel, probably anything you do of any sort, any size, anywhere, gets listened to in some way by however many people. Me, less the case. There are better places than others.
A few, like 4 less.
Yeah, like 3.5 on a good day. So, let's call it what it is. But if I did that, like the time commit to the value is not there. I should AI that. Him, probably the risk of his reputation is enough to do it properly.
I see. And see, I would just record it, see what happens. And if it's crap, then AI can eat it. And if it's not crap, then everyone else can enjoy it. It might be kind of fun, man. I mean, you're a fun guy. So if you just even were to go off on a sidetrack, you're like reading something, you're like, you know what? Here's a little part. Here's some more commentary. Okay, now back to the article. I guess some people might just be like, shut up and read the article.
But they wouldn't know. They'll listen to what you're saying. They don't know it's verbatim an article.
That's true. So tell me again, you're seeing that the AI and Google are indexing more of this audio content. Is that the idea behind this?
That plus just all other places. It's a little bit more holistic in where it's finding what it thinks is reputable. So that's why stuff like
Yeah.
PR is useful to it, because it's meant to be, this is, you don't get PR if you're bad. I believe it's pretty hot on using video as well, because it can transcribe. So cool, makes sense that if you had a YouTube podcast, obviously it's transcribable and you upload it, there's a lot that's said in there if it's an hour-long interview about a certain topic. So there's a lot to draw upon. So similarly, audio is very much the same thing. If you've already got a lot of text and it just prefers a different medium, why not put the text in the medium?
That is a cool one. Actually, that's actually a practical idea.
Dolphins is pretty practical, just for a very specific couple of humans.
Well, it's certainly very interesting, and I think it gets points there. But yeah, I would give you more points for something that might actually help your business grow, unless you're dolphin microphones, in which case they should use my idea.
In which case, hit us up. We deserve a finder's fee for giving you that multi-million-dollar show that becomes a Netflix piece in 2050. So you're welcome. But yeah, I have a question for you then. A little bit of a change of gears. What's something in podcasts that you find really annoying that should stop? I find there's I'll give you a bit of a head start while you think here. So I think purposeful moments where, for example, a quick fire round where it's clear that you're trying to do something that is clippable, that stuff, I think it's okay. I think that's a good idea done correctly. Let's not really shoehorn this in, but I think that's important. Things that I find quite poor though, really elongated introductions. I don't need a 4-minute intro to someone. I don't need to know their whole life story, that stuff. But what you did today is, I would say, just about right. And you need to know roughly who I am and make light of some stuff and have some chat. But you can't give me 7 minutes of that. And there's one that I listened to. This is my last one before I give you the answer to the test. One I listened to, the first 7 to 8 minutes are always ads. Every time. Now, I know that going into it, so I spam and skip ahead. But it's not an ad where it interrupts and it tells you the ad is playing and for what business. It's just a native read. And I'm like, why are we doing this? If it was a video, you would never put the worst stuff first because people click off. So why start with that? Maybe they're paying an awful lot for it, I assume. But I just find that you can never, ever get to the first second. You're going to get to the 14th second past the first second by average, aren't you? Or when you spam skipping forward. It's just so, why do that? So those are my two.
7 to 8 minutes?
Yeah.
Damn, what show?
It's a big one in the UK. High performance.
High performance.
They get on athletes and famous people who have achieved high performance in business, the sport they're in, whatever they do. It's a good one.
If you can get to it. Are you just jamming your finger on the skip? But some apps are 10 seconds at a time, but you got to get that 30-second skip. But still, you have to hit that 16 times to get through 8 minutes.
Well, that said, how would I know if they only did one ad this time? So I go ahead, spam, and then I might be 2 minutes in. How do I know where it started? And I'm just this is too much cognitive load. Make it easy, please.
It is. Now I could see 3 ads of 30 seconds each if you're absolute baller. And I think Rogan might have a few, different people, but you can somewhat easily skip and you're okay, all right, I'm in. And sometimes the ads are cool and you want to listen to them. I really like when the ad is helpful. So it's hey, here's a tidbit from this company letting you know about something. You're oh, thanks, company. So it was an ad, but it was helpful. So it wasn't as jarring as a complete interruption with some crap that you have to skip, But yeah, so for my list, it's, thanks for the introduction, by the way. I call that the perfect intro, TM, because you're right. It's not we're not introducing a speaker at an event. That's a different kind of, we're not reading someone's bio. It's a different beast, a different animal. I totally agree with you on that. What I hate relating to introductions is hey man, introduce yourself, right? I could give a crap about who you are. I did no research on you. I don't actually know who you are at all. So let's just hit record and you tell me why you're here and who you are. And unless people are prepared for that, it's always kind of awkward. And if they're prepared, it also feels it sounds kind of cringy anyways, and you have to be all humble about it, like, oh well, I'm just something. But it feels really kind of gross right off the bat to have to introduce yourself and not have it sound salesy or like you're pitching yourself, because you are at that point. You know, I hate that.
That one I think is poor hosting skill myself. Like I've definitely done that a million times. I think everybody's done it. But that comes to when I run a podcast, I own how it goes and my presence as a host and how I run the conversation, how I
Yeah.
open you into it really makes a difference. And that if I just tell you, all right, I'm out of control already. If you decide to just tell me about yourself for the next 7 minutes, I'm not going to interrupt you because I can't. It's awkward. So go.
Yep.
Go and do what you want with the show is basically what that says to me. Like maybe without knowing, and it's maybe a little bit dramatic, but I try just like what you did. I try to pick out what I know of that person, what I want to say, so that I can control it and I keep to my own pace. That I want to manage the time of the episode because we don't have all day to record it. We have a slot, and I want to get the maximum of my slot. So if I run the clock at the start, I run the clock at the end too.
Yeah. So true, man. I feel the same way. If you start strong and end strong, people will be forgiving about the middle, and maybe they'll even make it to the middle because you were solid at the beginning, and at the end. The end, man. I have this sort of perfect close I like to do. Yeah, we'll have to do this together at the end of this show too. But it's this close that I don't ever prep the guest for it. I just do it to them, and they, like Jedi mind trick, they can't help but just follow suit and do the things that I need them to do, and then it closes up and no one steps on each other and it's done. What I hate seeing on podcasts is when we're not sure about the close and we're like, okay, thanks, man. Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, thank you. Like 9 thank yous. We're not sure how to get out of here, right? And you're waiting for someone to, like, I don't know, take you off the stage. And I've had people when they're confused, like close out Zoom or, step on top of each other, and then the host is trying to say like, "All right, everybody, it's been a great episode," and it gets stepped on by the guest saying, "No, thank you." Like, and it's just really confusing. And it sounds so sloppy. Like maybe you got through a whole show, and then all of a sudden, now it sounds like you're a hack, like it's your first episode ever.
That's true. So I'm interested in what your outro will be, but the one that I like to have, if you have a quick fire round, those things, I really hate how like bland that is. A quick fire round, everyone does it. It's an excuse to generate clips. I do it too. I do them at the end.
I should do that then, huh? I don't do that. I should do that. You said it's annoying though.
You throw this whole episode to someone and say, "Get me clips." I
Right.
bet you they'll find it hard. Because a good clip to me is under 60 seconds at the max, unless you're doing we had a 5-minute segment that you want to put out specifically.
Yeah.
There isn't anything I said that's under 45 seconds without cutting off the point. So you inherently cannot get a good clip unless you really chop it hard, and that's going to be really hard work. That's like a lot of effort. So if I don't purposefully say to you, all right, I want you to tell me, I'm going to count 20 seconds, tell me the best podcasting strategy, go. And I'll count you out that 20 seconds. I know for sure 20-second clip. I control that. I control what I get in the output in the end, and I know where my editor's going to go find it. So like cost-wise and that stuff makes it easier, better for them too. So you get a better output and it's quicker and simpler for you to do it. You just have to, you probably do it at the end just because it's a little bit of a sort of forced opener. If I say, "Hey, welcome to the show. Today I've got Casey who knows everything about podcasts, but before we talk about anything you want to know, do you like tea or coffee?" It's a bit like, what?
Yeah, no, that is lame, right? Yeah.
So at the end, if you're saying, okay, like, what's the best podcast platform? Tell me now. And then the only thing in the clip is you saying Libsyn or whatever you think, right? Clip, done. Move on 2 or 3 or 4. And then you can kind of say, okay, last one before I say the call to action, the outro notes. Question, you answer it and I say, brilliant, thank you for that. Roll my outro.
Yeah, man, what a cool point. We could talk about this for days. Yeah, so I didn't do it with you. It's actually my fault, and I apologize. Prep you to smash a myth because I wasn't sure I was gonna have you smash it because we were just gonna have fun. But normally I have a guest like prepared to drop some fire right off the beginning, and that's usually clippable. But I made a great point about the rapid fire. You can design it to create some clips for you. Just not about coffee and tea. That'd be lame.
Yeah, stuff that's got a bit of a bite to it. As long as it's not, is cold calling dead?
Yeah.
But you can make it have a little bit of sizzle to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, dude, time has flown by. I started this podcast tired and drinking coffee, and the coffee's kicked in, but man, the conversation's kicked in. You're a smart guy, and all of my ideas were crazy, and your ideas were like things I actually want to implement. So man, this has been a great conversation. Where do people, if they want to reach out and get in touch on all the different projects you're doing? Because I only listed like one, but you're doing a million things. Where do you want them to go to connect with you?
I should have a swear jar for this. I hate it when people say, "Oh, just connect with me on LinkedIn." Oh, boring.
You know what? It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. But you know what's interesting? I find guests really enjoy being asked that. And I always tell people, don't tell people where they can be found. Ask them, right? Because then you kind of steal their thunder. But like, where would you like to be found, sir?
Unfortunately, I will go with the crowd on this one, much as I hate to do so. My LinkedIn profile is where I am most active. The website and other stuff, it's probably not so as interesting as other stupid things I post. So go there, and at least I can reply to you if you do send me a message.
Excellent. We will put that in the show notes. You can clickety-click right on through to that. Dude, Ollie, thank you so much for coming on here. This has been like really fun. I mean, things have kicked in. I've got my brainstorm happening. Thank you for hanging in there with me when I asked you to eat chips and swim with dolphins. I feel like we actually, there's some learning in here. If people can rise above my craziness. Man, there's a lot of to-dos I have for following up with this. So I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you for that. Can I make one request before we go?
Yeah.
I'm not leaving until I hear a dolphin impression from you.
Okay. Ready? There it is. Now I need yours.
I'll look at the time. I have to go to my next meeting. Got ya. Got him.
Okay. Well, we can't leave until we get your impression, right? Or you just gonna? That's where the screen just goes blank.
That's where I've turned my Wi-Fi off and I'm gone.
Well, you know what? We're gonna clip that impression I did. Shout out to Avery. We're gonna clip that and we're gonna throw that on a special bonus episode. So people want to hear that, they're gonna have to click on. It's just an episode of me making dolphin sounds.
And tune in next week for the chips eating episode around the fire.
Yes. But listen, for those listening, if you actually learned something or you just had a good time with this episode, share this with someone else. That's how you be a thought leader. And dude, Ollie, thank you again, sir.
Pleasure as always, my friend.
All right, everybody, this is a crazy cool episode of the Hardcore Marketing Show. We will see you all next time.